Welcome to the Week 3 of the Global Battle Association. After a very valiant effort last week and the week before, the Bullet Punch Club are currently 2-0 and number 1 in this season's standings. Our opponent this week is Goldoa Dragon and the New York Empoleons. Possessing a wide array of threats such as Greninja, which can Battle Bond, Garchomp, which can run a lot of setup and spikes, as well as Ceruledge that can leverage both Terra Fairy and Ghost. We definitely have a lot going against us this week. So much so that unfortunately we're not gonna even be able to play this time around. Yeah, my opponent and I were sadly not able to schedule this week. None of us were really available for each other's times, and by the looks of it, it seemed that my only choice was to forfeit the match.
Hold it!
Is what I would say if I didn't have a co-captain. For this season of the GBA, every single competitor has an assistant coach that will both help in preparing and even filling in for a few battles if need be. The same can be said for the Bullet Punch Club, as our co-captain is none other than one of the greatest Draft League battlers and my brother, Matty Brollic. So let us take a look at what he brought. Starting things off, we got the megastar LA Knight, the bulky Dragonite with Facade, Dragon Dance, Roost, and Earthquake. This investment is clearly designed for the Knight to be able to take a lot of hits, which makes sense when you consider how a good portion of Goldoa's team, including Garchomp, does not enjoy wanting to take on a Terra Normal variant. Which even gets worse for him when you consider that in the event of Zapdos getting a paralysis off on him, that's a stab boosted Facade waiting to absolutely demolish his team. It's clear that Matt wants to set up a potential endgame for his set of sweepers because the next Pokemon is Choice Scarfed Goldengo, with Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Memento, and Trick. Now, this is great for him in the sense that Dengo's speed tier allows him to pretty much outspeed his entire team, with the exception of his two likely Scarfers in Greninja and Garchomp. Ghost and Steel coverage hits his team really hard, and the only resist is Greninja, which takes over half from Make It Rain. Trick is also really good in potentially crippling his Zapdos, Fortress, and so much more, which added with Memento can very much open the door for his Dragonite going absolutely bonkers. This brings us to the next Pokemon, which can also very much end the game on its own right. Belly Drum Azumarill with Liquidation, Ice Spinner, and Aqua Jet. It very much makes sense for Matty to not bring any fairy coverage this week, as these are essentially all the moves he needs to hit Goldoa's entire team, as not even Greninja will want to take anything that's +6 because of just how damn frail this thing is. It also greatly synthesizes with what Matty has got so far, as with Memento Goldengo, it very much opens a lot of room for him to get the belly drum off and potentially end the game then and there. Next up is the Pokemon that is on its way to becoming this season's MVP, the overgrown Meowscarada with Knockoff, Flower Trick, U-Turn, and Taunt. Now, you may be questioning why the exact set is brought again this week, and to answer your question, that's because of the phenomenal coverage for Goldoa's entire team. Constantly being able to pressure and acquire progression with Knockoff and Flower Trick and have nothing to fear because the protective pads will stop it from getting paralyzed by Zapdos, which is especially good when you consider how its speed tier enables it to pretty much outspeed his entire team. I most certainly see it potentially being able to clean up. As we're reaching the end, my man realized that he needs a hazard setter. Enter a very fast Honorary Ooks with Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Psychic, and Memento. It makes a lot of sense because Uxie is a deceptively fast Pokemon with a very useful speed tier in the current metagame. And by having access to Memento, he most certainly can leverage the speed and potentially be able to set up the endgame with either Azu or Dragonite. It also has the natural bulk to take a lot of hits really well, so I definitely am looking forward to seeing what it does. Last but not least, we got the Eject Button Clodsire with Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Recover, and Spikes. Looking at Goldoa's team, it makes sense for this thing to exist because with the attack investment, it's guaranteed to do a lot of damage to his Florges and Ceruledge, both of which can potentially be fairy types. It's a very interesting spread that I'm sure can pay great dividends, and if nothing else, can just set up spikes and work as a great pivot for our many offensive threats to come in. So yeah, that is the team for today. If you're enjoying this video, please do like and subscribe, as I'm on my way to hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I can only do that with each and every single one of your lovely support. And without further ado, let us move on into the game. Oh wait, there's just one more thing I forgot to mention. I will be joined by a very special guest. Alright guys, we are back right now, ready to see our good brother Matty Brollic be able to take on the Goldoa Dragon. And for this match, I am not alone because I am joined by my Muslim brother, Chimpact.
What's up?
Yeah, so going into this matchup, what are your overall thoughts, Chimp?
I feel like this Dragonite is going to do too much damage to his team. Can't get burnt. I mean, if it does, then it's going to do more damage. It's going to be very tough to take down.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that from an endgame perspective, once he's able to chip down his fortress of his, he can most certainly get it and set up an endgame for his Azumarill to even be able to clean up. And from a structural standpoint, there's a reason that's why he has Memento on 2 of his Pokemon, I think. But yeah, like overall, like Greninja is still going to be a pretty huge problem to this team, I reckon. So yeah, Matt's gonna have to play his cards very carefully. But yeah, huge thanks to our boy Goldoa for sending us, his recording so that you guys can be able to see this game. But yeah, Matt's gonna actually lead off with his honorary Ooks, the Ooksy, as Goldoa is gonna lead off with his Fortress. And turn 1, I'm expecting both sides to pretty much just set up their Stealth Rocks, going by how hazard-centric this meta game is. Okay, so they are gonna actually pretty much set up Stealth Rocks here and now, but I wouldn't say that this is the best situation for Matty, personally, because he does not have any Fire-type coverage to be able to hit that Fortress of his, and that Fortress can just pretty much Rapid Spin. What are your thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, he's probably just going to switch to Goldengo here and try to just start powering off neutral hits with Shadow Ball or make it rain, whatever he wants to.
Yeah, that would honestly make far more sense. Because yeah, I completely like zeroed out on Dengo, not being able to block the spin. But yeah, like, oh no, he's actually gonna stay in. I'm assuming to break that sturdy of his. Maybe.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it still works in the sense that Fortress was sturdy heavy-duty boots that would give him somewhat of an out for Belly Drum Azumarill. So being able to get rid of the sturdy is definitely something worthwhile for him. But Matt's just gonna pretty much keep trying to set up Stealth Rocks again, and as Goldoa is pretty much hell-bent on ensuring that there is no hazards on his side. So ultimately, I do feel like this situation does benefit Matty in the sense that Fortress, by continuously rapid spinning, will be able to eventually outspeed it. And in doing so, like, he will rapid spin first, as Uxie will set up Stealth Rocks and then be able to go straight out into his Goldengo. So that's actually not the worst situation for Matt. Okay, so Goldoa is actually going to realize that, as Uxie is going to set up his Stealth Rocks. Very good play on Matt's behalf. And yeah, all things considered, this seems like a start where it can go pretty much either way. Overall, like, what if you are Matt? How would you progress with this situation, Chimp? Now that Stealth Rocks are up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Goldengo is going to be able to 3-hit KO the Greninja with Shadow Ball. So, like, it looks very easy to use with Shadow Ball, but I think I saw a Colbur Berry on this Mew and not a
Cassie Berry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he is gonna, like, Mew is gonna come out and try to set up a Calm Mind on this, Calm Mind on the Uxie, which is not gonna work out, as he's gonna be able to get the slow U-turn off. And right now, I would say that gives him a very free switch in into his Goldengo, don't you think?
Was that a slow U-turn? I think did the Mew click an attack?
Yeah, it set up a Calm Mind first.
Okay, because I thought I saw the Uxie use the move, and then I think it's. I didn't see the Mew click a move.
Fair enough.
So if the Mew if the Mew is faster, I would definitely go into Goldengo and see. Actually, just go to Meowscarada here and just click U-turn and go back out into Uxie.
Right. That
makes
I don't
want to risk the Mew just being able to take the Shadow Ball.
Yeah. That absolutely makes sense, considering that the Mew here has has set up a Calm Mind, and potentially be able to actually take the Shadow Ball on. But Matt's just gonna pretty much choose to go straight out into his Okada. And that is a pretty interesting situation, as never mind, I was wrong. Because the Mew is actually going to be able to set up a Combine later on. Sorry for gaslighting you, my man. What's wrong with me? But yeah, this does make the situation a bit more interesting, as he's going to stay in and Shadow Ball. Will that kill the Mew, though? It is going to be able to kill this Mew. Alright, so like Matt is actually making the best possible plays he could, because while, like, to your point, Chimp, he could have always gone out into his Meowscarada. Unfortunately, he is not Pro Team this week. He is Overgrow, so U-turn was not gonna be a stab when it's all said and done. So him going out in his Dengo was definitely risky because of the offensive potential it has. Even though Goldoa does actually have access to an Overquill, but yeah, it's gonna work out for Matt big time. Big Matt, yeah. It does give him the possibility of being able to go out into his Greninja. But no, he's actually just gonna go straight out into his Overquill, which also makes sense considering that he can, from an offensive standpoint, he can actually leverage this and be able to follow through with setups of spikes or T-spikes, assuming he has that. So yeah, what do you think? How do you think this match is going?
Is this a Dark Poison type?
Yeah, Dark Poison.
Okay, never mind. So I thought that the Goldengo would just be able to use neutral moves against his entire team except for Greninja, but this is also another resist.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is a little bit difficult for Matt to just be able to switch around against this team, because he does have the Stealth Rock up, and if he does set up these spikes, it's gonna be pretty tough to deal with.
For sure. But he is gonna go out in his Clodsire. Okay.
Yeah, Clodsire is a little bit weird because it has the eject button, so he's gonna switch out here.
All right. So he's gonna be able to go straight out into his Dragonite, which makes sense because this does give him a free chance to be able to potentially Dragon Dance up here and now. But in doing so, he's kind of leaving himself wide open to a potential toxic if his if the Overquill does have it. But then again, he can actually leverage the hell out of that with Terra Normal Facade. So if he bar barrages here, it's not gonna be a good time.
Yeah, if I'm Matty, I just Earthquake here because Earthquake always puts it in range of another Shadow Ball, probably because you know that it's heavy duty boost because it didn't take Stealth Rock. And setting up a Dragon Dance there, you're going to be prepared against a Dragonite, so obviously they're gonna have an answer for Dragonite.
Yeah, for sure. Earthquake is a pretty free play, all things considered, and it guarantees progression all around, as Matt is going to make that play and click Earthquake, and he's going to be able to snag a very nice critical hit. This greatly puts Goldo on the back burner right now, because as his Choice Scarf, which you see before you, he does not have the liberty of being able to click whatever he wants, because if he goes for an Outrage, Azumarill is going to be able to come in and just knock it out. And even if he decides to go for an Outrage with Terra Normal, Dragonite is going to be able to eat that stuff up for days. So yeah, this Earthquake is has very much put Goldo on the back burner for here right now. So yeah, the way this match is going, it's definitely favoring Matty, because he's being able to constantly get progression through Stealth Rocks and being able to make the right plays here. So yeah, Goldo is gonna have to do a lot in order to come back from this one.
Yeah, another Earthquake is not gonna be able to knock out the Garchomp, but there's really if you just Terra the Dragonite here, there's really not much the Garchomp can do.
Yeah, exactly, as that is exactly what he's gonna be able to do, because with Terra Normal Dragonite, this thing is so crazy. The fact that they allowed me to get this thing for $25 is just insane. But yeah, this crunch is going to do absolutely nothing, and understandably so, as Matt is going to take this as the opportunity to snag a very nice Dragon Dance. And even though the Garchomp is going to be allowed speeded, that is ultimately not going to mean a damn thing. Because, Crunch, he does not have, while Matt does not have Crunch while Matt does not necessarily have access to a multi-scale to protect it anymore, and while Garchomp is going to be able to outspeed it, he's locked into Crunch. So this is not a good situation for Goldo at all, and Matt is playing really well. Credit to be given where it's due.
So Earthquake should be able to knock it out here. I don't know if he's going to get greedy and go for another Dragon Dance. Yeah, he just goes for another Earthquake.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. As down goes the guard jump. Honestly, he could have definitely potentially set up another Dragon Edge there. But also at the same time, this Dragonite does not have the coverage to be able to take down the Fortress of his, because if I recall correctly, this thing does not have Fire Punch. So him choosing to make that play by clicking Earthquake makes a lot of sense, because like to your point, Chimp, like Earthquake hits his entire team and nothing really wants to switch into it save for his Fortress, which is going to take Stealth Rock damage, and especially with it having the Rocky Helmet, it's not going to be able to like get any sort of sense of recovery whatsoever. So it definitely makes sense for Golda to sack this thing off. Obviously, I would be remiss to not acknowledge the fact that, you know, like, because the Earthquake crit definitely came in clutch here big time, but, you know, we take those. We take those for days.
True. Yeah, I don't think it was going to be 2-hit KO'd by +1 Earthquake plus a regular Earthquake. But he goes on to Big Quillfish, and that is not going to be able to take on this Dragonite. Just for Roost. Goes up to full, no big deal.
Yeah. And this also once again puts Matt in a good position, because if this Quillfish goes straight for a Bar Barrage, as this Dragonite sets up another Dragon Dance, then Facade is going to do a lot of damage to this thing. Like,
that haze was very weird. Like, it literally only stopped the Dragonite from getting a speed boost.
Yeah, honestly, like, I can understand why he would want to haze there, just to ensure that, like, the speed is gone, so that he's able to revenge this thing properly with his Greninja. But then again,
he can't because it's a normal type.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt is gonna pretty much just make the play of clicking Earthquake, and that is going to do way too much to him. And oh my God, Dragonite is going to get poisoned, but unfortunately for Goldoa, that is not a good thing for him at all, because now he's facing a Stab Facade boosted Dragonite.
I don't think the Facade really matters that much. I guess Facade wasn't KOing the Greninja at full. But now it does, probably.
For sure.
But the poison is a little bit tough, just because of the fact that you're not going to be able to get to multi-scale ever again.
Yeah, so in that case, like, this does mean that Goldoa is going to be, like, inclined to go straight out into his Cerulege here, because that is pretty much the only Pokemon that he has that can be able to outspeed. I mean, he has other pieces to be able to outspeed it, but now this is the only Pokemon that he has to hit this thing for super effective damage and whack with a close combat. It being Terra Ghost this week also ensures that he is not going to be able to take super effective damage from Earthquake. So, realistically speaking, like, this does give Goldoa a chance to be able to potentially come back here. Although, like, with his best Ghost type move being Shadow Sneak, it's like, I mean, he's not going to be able to just pretty much one-shot an Uxie anytime soon. So, like, this does give Matt the potential of being able to get a Memento off, especially if his Uxie is going to be able to outspeed the Cerulege of his. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting situation, all things considered.
And the Cerulege might be Flash Fire, could be Weak Armor. If it is Weak Armor, then it's just more vulnerable to Aqua Jet.
Exactly, yeah. So if it is, you know, weak armor this week, then it may just potentially backfire on him big time. But Matt is gonna stay in and actually let his LA Knight take the L on this one. And unfortunately, Matt is gonna unfortunately be able to lose his Dragonite here and now. But realistically, truthfully speaking, he does not have the best Pokemon to be able to switch into the Cerulege of his, but at the same time, he also has access to his Meowscarada, but he's actually gonna go straight out into his Goldengo, not even care about a potential Shadow Sneak crit, which, truthfully speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even kill, because Goldengo is that fat of a Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah.
Universe.
Yeah. Even though like this Cerulege has access to the extra stat boost from Terra Ghost, I don't think Shadow Sneak crit is gonna even be able to kill this thing, or this could be just me potentially underestimating its thing's offensive prowess. But once again, this gives Matt a very free opportunity to thwack something in the face with a Shadow Ball, as Goldoa is gonna choose to swap out and go out into his Fortress, which I can't say I agree with. because this is pretty much the only thing standing in the way between Azumarill just going absolutely crazy. As yeah, I don't think it's gonna take it well at all. Yeah, he is going to pretty much go near its deathbed because the next time this thing comes in, he's a dead man walking. As now this gives Matt such great potential to be able to leverage the hell out of this, because if he wants, he can go out into his Uxie, go for a Memento, belly drum with his Azumarill, and just pretty much potentially go for game.
So yeah, that is an interesting option. Like you're saying he could switch out. I think I would just get rid of this Pokemon right now.
Okay, no, that's completely fair. But it seems that he is gonna pretty much stick to the belly drum sweep this time around, which is pretty. Yeah, okay. I mean, when it's all said and done, these were all potential options for him to take. But Goldoa is gonna make the play of clicking Volt Switch, which makes sense because that's the only thing this thing can do when it's all said and done. But with him potentially being able to go out into his Greninja or his Cerulege, this does put him in the back burner of some sorts, because I can't really entirely remember, but this Uxie is not Cobra Berry, is it?
It's Citrus.
Okay, yeah, it is Citrus Berry this week, so that's actually not the best thing in the world, because if Goldoa either snags a crit or is able to, you know, hit this thing with a snag a crit or get a flinch on this thing, he could very well get the Battle Bond boost and potentially just pretty much end the game on the spot. So yeah, like now that you mention it, I don't think that was the play to make for sure. Although at the same time, even in the timeline where Gidengo was able to take this thing out, he would have been pretty much been able to go out into his he would have pretty much been able to go out into his Greninja in the first place as it is, and be able to get that Battle Bond boost. I'm not sure what other play Matt could have done. Do you think he should have? Yeah. Do you think he could have gone to his Meowscarada?
I guess he could have, but there's like the thing of maybe he was considering a Custap Berry or something like that.
Yeah, but Custap Berry doesn't exist.
He goes for a Gong Shot.
Huh?
And that's gonna cost him like that is gonna be a huge Gong Shot for Meowscarada switching. Okay.
I mean, sure, I guess, but like that felt like such a unnecessary play on Goldoa's part. Wait a second, doesn't just Meowscarada come in and just sweep right now?
Yeah, the Greninja's at -2. It's outsped. You know he's Life Orb.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from going out into his Meowscarada and just pretty much ending the game on the spot here and now, because yeah, Fortress is about to straight up die. Meow is gonna be able to come in and just pretty much knock this thing off. Fortress is pretty much just gonna die to Stealth Rocks as it is, and Meow can just end this game courtesy of a Flower Trick and a knockoff. And by having access to Overgrowth this week, he won't be losing his stabs anytime soon. So yeah, for sure, I think that's game.
Oh, one thing he could have done was with the Battle Bond boost, he could just go out into Goldango to click Memento. Because he gets the speed boost.
Yeah, so he gets the speed boost as well. Wait, no, he's gonna go out into his Azumarill. Hello? I understand about the prospect of being able to get a belly drum off and so on, but when you have a Cerulege that has access to Shadow Sneak, I can't really say I agree with that play, bro. And also, Gong Shot can crit. You there?
Yeah, I'm not sure why he just didn't go out into Meowscarada. You know that this thing is Life Orb. You know the Cerulege is heavy duty boots, and the Fortress is about to die.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe he's just not familiar with the knockoff calc with Meowscarada. But even if you weren't, like,
yeah, like even in the timeline,
I mean, you know he's like max speed or near max speed with the Cerulege because it outsped the Dragonite, which has a decent amount of speed investment as well. So it can't be too bulky.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I understand. He's got a belly drum, okay. Huh. I mean, ultimately, I don't think this situation is something that Goldoa can be even able to come back from, because when it's all said and done, I do think that this Greninja is too chipped to the point where a +6 Aqua Jet should still be able to take it down from the range of HP stats. So him being able to potentially get the reverse sweep with Battle Bond I don't think is that likely from here onwards. But no, he's gonna go out into his Ceruledge. I mean, that's fair because he's gonna be able to knock this thing out with a Shadow Sneak, since it has a Terra boost. But yeah, ultimately, I feel like Matt could have definitely ended this game far more early on if he went out into his Meowscarada. Okay, so Shadow Sneak is gonna be able to come out, and that is gonna be able to kill that Azumarill of his. But right now, this just gives him a very free switch into his Meowscarada, and that should be pretty much game over. But yeah, like, I think that is pretty much gonna go out as Ray Meowstereo is gonna come out. And yeah, I feel like that is about to be game over. In the 3 weeks that the Bullet Punch Club has been competing in the GBA so far, Meowscarada was always the Pokemon that ended the game. And that's honestly like it's pretty crazy to see how much, how well this Pokemon is putting the team on its back. Because with its speed tier and its, as well as its typing and coverage, it's such a great revenge killer. As yeah, like that is not gonna do anywhere near enough. Knockoff is gonna be able to come out and is gonna be able to destroy that Ceruledge. And just like that, folks, we are about to see the greatest luchador, Rey Meowstereo, be able to potentially be able to take it home for the Bullet Punch Club. Looks like we're about to end up with a 3-0. Let's freaking go. Okay, so as he is gonna be able to try to go for a water shuriken, but unfortunately that is not going to be anywhere near enough, as right now the only thing that remains is one more flower trick. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all kinds, the Bullet Punch Club is able to snag a nice and glorious 3-0 victory. Alright, looks like we're 3-0 right now. 3-0 and still #1 in the standings. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to my boy Chimp for being able to fill in and do co-commentary with me for this week. My man, do you have anything you want to say?
Shout out to the Bullet Punch Club.
I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you. Please do check out his channel, guys. He makes amazing content. I love his Jeopardy videos. And yeah, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a glorious day, and we shall hopefully see you all next time. Whoosh!